Hi there, I'm Nu-Trix, and today we're looking into the top iOS and iPadOS software for sequencing. And I'm saying sequencing because I don't want to say DAWs. It can be DAWs, of course. It can be sequencer, yes, but it can be mostly Grooveboxes or DAWs. That's how I decided to do it. It's my video. I do it this way. End of the year is always a moment when we look back on what was, cool this year, how the music production iOS world has evolved. It's a great place to be. There's a lot of options. There's actually, I would say, so many options today that it's hard to pick the right one, and it's easy to get lost. And of course, there's new stuff that is cool, but there's plenty of really cool stuff that was done in the last 5-6 years that are still very potent, not just potent, high quality, and you still would like to have them. That's why you need to follow and watch all these, YouTubers talking about iPad music. And I put the list of them below. There's plenty of good resources to actually watch and decide if it's for you before buying it. So today I'm talking about sequencing. I'm talking about Groovebox, and it's going to be the dozen top app for me. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that's how I feel. That's how I approach it. And it means that there's some software that everybody will say it's the best that I don't like, and I'm not going to put it in. Like, I don't have Logic in that list. And go, why? Because I don't use it. So I have no opinion on if it's good or bad. So let's start right away with my number one, which is Zenbeats. Now, I'm using Zenbeats. In my video, you see me using it on Mac, on iOS, on iPad. For me, it's the fact that it works on all of these platforms is a very good point for it. On top of that, it works the way my brain wants to work in pattern. A little bit like Ableton Live. You get these two windows. You have the pattern-based window and you have the linear window, and they can be used at different moment in your creation. And I really work in patterns, so this is great for me. So you have that really pattern-based structure you can work with. And when it's done, you can switch to the linear window. It's also a great synth because it has its own internal synthesizer. It's also a great drum machine because the drum track is a drum machine. If you look at the drum track itself, this is a drum machine. When people say, what's your favorite drum machine on the iOS? It's the Zenbeat drum machine. It just is a cool device. Each of them, you can go in each of them, you can work on the sample. You can do everything you expect. You can have a mute group and combine them. You can reverse, you can, of course, load the new sample and all that stuff. So it's more than just a sequencer. It's also a drum machine, which is, well, we all need one. Number two, Cubasis. Cubasis is also another option for me when I go into a DAW mode, either for mixing, because there's a lot of really cool effects you can have insert in it. You've got these great internal effects that you have in there, the master strip, the channel strip, audio track, for example. For mixing, it's one of the options that I go to. You have a great mixer in it. You've got a great key. And it's the same people behind Cubase and Nuendo. So you're going to have something that has high quality sound and it works the way it should be. Next one is Gadget. It's a love and hate relationship between me and Gadget. Gadget is a great software for creation. It's a cool place to put all your tracks. Again, it works with patterns. It's easy to add your stuff. You can just go in and create. You can easily see your tracks. You can easily enter your notes, play back what you have to play back. The mixer is not really good. It's basic. So this is not a DAW. It fits into the sequencing option. You cannot record with it. The mixing options is fairly limited in my view for a final real mix. The biggest problem with it, in my view, is the fact that it does not support AUV3 plugins. And I don't understand why, because this would be a top DAW if you had this. Also, the fact that all the synthesizers that Korg is releasing for this can run as a standalone and can work in Gadget, but does not work as AUV3. So I don't know what gives, but it makes them less interesting. Even if they're at good quality, I use them less. And Gadget, I use it to create, but then I export everything and I finish somewhere else because it's limiting the option of using everybody else's plugins. And that's kind of a sad part in that. But it's still a very good sequencer to create your music. 4 is a new one. It's BAM from Imaginendo. Now, Imaginendo makes a lot of really cool, weird synthesizers. And BAM is a great all-in-one box that is a sequencer. It's a DAW. You've got all these tracks. You can enter your notes. You can enter all the controls. You can type in. You can create in real time. Get a great interface. It's all in one window with all these little panels you can work. And it has its own internal sound generators. So you can easily go in and say, I'm going to load a sampler, an oscillator, a drum synth, and often, which is kind of a acid type of sound, a noise generator, a kick, a snare, a clap. So you can look at this as being a just giant drum machine or a really cool sequencer. Also, you can load audio unit and load all of these external plugins that you want. So it's a cool package. I'll make more videos about how to actually create with it in the next month. It's a cool one. I like it. Strokes. Strokes is something I talked about this year, and it has updated twice since I talked about it. So I'm going to have to do a new video about it. But Strokes is a great way to create notes, create patterns. It can actually run from its own internal synthesizers if you want to. There's the option of having analog type of synthesizers, wave shaping type of generators, FM synthesis. So there's all that, bass drum. So you can use it as a sound generator and as a drum machine or as a bass line, or you can also use it to send MIDI out. And sending MIDI out to hardware or to other software. This actually on the computer also exists as a plugin. So the MIDI out can be sent to, let's say, tracks of Ableton Live. This is cool because it's also a little bit of evolving music with all these Euclidean and modifiers and all of that. So this is a really interesting approach to making music in my taste. And this year, I'm diving more into these software that helps you generate tracks and beats and melodies and stuff like that, like with the MIDI cake that I have. So Strokes is really in that same mentality. So I'm going to have to do a new video because this is a new window that you have to perform in it. So that's going to be pretty cool. Number 6 is NanoStudio 2. NanoStudio 2 is a big DAW. It does what we expect from a DAW. There's plenty of window. There's a sequencer. There's effects. There's a lot of controls. I find it really powerful, but I get lost in it. There's so many windows and ways around it. There's effects and like anything, when you learn a new software, you need to learn it and get used to it. This is like everything. You need to take the time to learn it, but it's really powerful. So NanoStudio 2, another great one. Number 7, Elastic Melody. This is something that came out this year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to randomize everything and try this. What's interesting with Elastic Melody is you have 3 sound generators and 3 tracks, and each of the tracks can have a different tempo, length, and it can control all of the parameters of the synthesis. So it can be really complex. So it's more of having 3 generators and 3 sequencers, step sequencers combined into one, and it create these really cool rhythm and grooves. It can work as a plugin or it can work in standalone, and you can export it and load it in audio. So it's kind of where you want it to fit. And you also have a song mode, so you can really build them into making something more complex. I had something here. That's it. I was using it to make a really cool analog sounding drum machine. Next one is Pure Acid. That's a classic. If you want to create acid style of music, you have a TV303. You get your drum, you get your acid synth, and then you can easily just like so fun to play with, easy to work. You have the sequencer, you can design, you can copy. It's just a great way to play with. So, and this is from Jim Audio. He's been around for a while in the world of iPad music. So great option. For those who don't know it, check it out. Hammerhead. Hammerhead, I think it came out last year. But Hammerhead is this recreation of an older Groovebox sample-based software that exists in the past. And you can easily select each of the sounds separately. You can create your track, and you've got different lines of instruments. And for each of them, you have different lines of controls on it. And what's really cool about it is that each of them you can decide to go and use a sample or go into drum synth and create your own drum sound. And that's what really I like the option of creating my own drum sound. So there's this electronic sounding capacity here, and there's also sampling capacity. And it can be, of course, it's made for drum, but it can be for. There's no reason why you cannot use it to play the notes because there's pitch control here. So it's possible also. Ruismaker or Ruismaker, you get a Ruismaker normal, you get the Noir, and you have the FM. It's just a weird generative Euclidean MIDI sequencer, you know? You play with it, and then you can just randomize. So you have each of the sounds separately. And every time you press here, you're basically, the top here is, you control what you want here. And then if where you want it to be, you cannot just type in. You have to go here and play with the Euclidean, you want it to be shift, the accent, or the beats. How many of them you want? Oh, here we go. That's how you create. So it's a different way, but it forces you to think in a different way also. And it sounds cool. You can load the different drum sounds here. Or separately, you can load the different beats. So there are two memories in it. You have this for Ruismaker, the normal one. You've got the Noir, which is more of a, I would say, it feels like an analog modular synth. So this you type in, and then you play with the size. when I look at this, I think about like drummer from another mother type of approach. It's not that, but it's just in that same mindset of you create in a little fixed environment with a sequencer and sound generator, and you push it into going somewhere. I like this. And then again, when you like it, export, save it. Or this also is a audio unit plugin, so it will appear inside your favorite DAW. Next one is Drambo. Drambo is another Munster DAW. It's a very modular approach. You can just load in the different parts that you want. It can be instrument, it can be oscillators, they can be processors, it can be modulators, it can be mixers. So there's a very modular approach to it, but it is still a DAW inside it. So it's a very complex, but it's cool because you can just load presets and have, you know, sequence of drum, or you can use it as a multi-effect processor. So it's, you know, the structure, you've got the whole line here of one track. This other one is the kick. This other one is the kit sampler. These are all different sounds. You know, when you play it, you see this is snare, hi-hat. This is your acid sound. And the acid comes from the internal synthesizer. So really cool. And the last one I want to talk about is the AUM. AUM, if you don't have it, you should look into it. It's not a DAW per se. It's kind of an open platform to put everything you want. You can control audio MIDI. You can import stuff into it. If you have an audio track, you can load in audio unit as plugin to process it. You can load instrument to play it if you have a MIDI track. It can be seen as a massive console of mixing and controlling your MIDI, or it can be seen as a DAW. It's just an open-minded way of adding all the stuff that you want into a creative space to help you make music. It's a really complete and fun, and you can also record track. Some of the DAWs that I talked about today, I never did demos on, but there's plenty of stuff you can find on these just to verify if it fits your bill. So I put some link below to other YouTubers that I appreciate what they're doing online about the iOS music production world. And just go see these videos and just decide which one is the best for you. Because all of these, I talked about 12 of them. They're all good, but they have to fit your way of working, or they have to inspire you into working in a way that creates something that you're feeling good about. Basically, we're doing this to have fun and to be happy about ourselves. Check it out, try them out, and if I missed any of these, and I know I missed a lot of them because they're either not one that I used, or they're not fitting the bill into the way my brain works to create music. But still, put other names and other links of other apps in the comments, and I'll look into them. I might find stuff that I never used and I'm actually curious of trying out. That's it. Thank you for your support in the year of 2023. And I hope that 2024 will be a good year for you. Make more music and see you soon. Cheers.